I'm out on a walk, so I might as well give you some scenery as I say this one. I think that's the Whittlesea Ranges over there. And I'm listening to some science show on the BBC, and on that science show they're saying that the Amazon relies upon phosphorus from the Sahara. Apparently trade winds blow on the equator, at least, and they blow dust from Africa across to South America, and around about 90% of the dust is lost along the way, but 10% lands in the Amazon, which is a strange stat on the face of it, but they explained it. The dust is warm-ish. It absorbs light. That's what makes it its reddy brown colour. It absorbs light, which heats it up slightly, and just carries on like that in some sort of jet stream or whatever, and probably not the jet stream, but somewhere up there, and in a band, and travels right across the ocean, because there's much more ocean than there is Amazon. So I would have thought, oh, we've got some cockatoos. I would have thought that 99% or 999% would have dropped into the ocean, and only, just a small fraction would have landed in the Amazon. But maybe the dust particles are forced up or something once they reach land, and then drop. No longer aloft. Hot air rises and all that sort of thing. But I never get this. I never understand the science completely. But then, in any case, they've done studies, and 10% of the dust that leaves Africa lands in the Amazon. Or you can say 8% if you want. I'm sure they won't care. All right. And further, they said the Amazon depends on that phosphorus. And this makes me think that's that old argument for God. How can this be? This is what people. This is the logic, and it was logic that seemed self-evident to people before Charles Darwin came along. How could it be that the Amazon needs that phosphorus? The ecosystem in the Amazon needs that phosphorus from that dust from Africa. The Amazon needs that dust from Africa, and the dust comes. The winds are there to give the Amazon what it needs from Africa. And the ecosystem gets what it wants. What are the chances? It's a little bit like me standing up here on a hillside, and I need oxygen. And look at this, beautiful oxygen all around me. Now, if you didn't know about natural selection and all that sort of thing, which people didn't know of before Charles Darwin, you would say, what? Seriously, what are the chances? You need oxygen as you stand here on a hillside, and you have an abundance of oxygen all around you. Explain that. And the only thing I would have come up with, had I never heard of Darwin, the only thing I would have come up with is some amazing power, God, provided what I needed. It would have been obvious and yet it's not like that. It's just that there were a gazillion other life forms possible, that were competing to live in this environment that I'm living in, and they all lost because they weren't able to adapt to this oxygen. So it's not that God gave me all this oxygen, it's just that there were a gazillion other life forms that were all possible in this environment called Earth. And all the ones that weren't suited died, didn't reproduce, leaving a tiny, tiny fraction of the possible life forms that there were. And one of those life forms is me. So it's not that strange. And the same logic goes for, then, the dependence of the Amazon on dust from Africa. You could easily sort of say, if you'd never heard of Darwin, and this is a sort of simpler case than the Darwin one, it is exactly a Darwin situation, that God knew that, see, it's getting the logic around the wrong way. God knew that the Amazon needed dust from Africa, so he sent it. The ecosystem of the Amazon needed phosphorus-filled dust from Africa, and God knew this and sent it. And yet that's not the case, obviously, really. Phosphorus has been coming from Africa, dust, and I'm sure other minerals and bits and pieces too. Dust has been coming on the trade winds to South America from Africa for so long that the Amazon adapted to that. Had that dust not been coming all these centuries and millennia, the ecosystem of the Amazon would be different. So it's not a case of the Amazon needed X and God provided X. There were two Amazons. There was an Amazon X and an Amazon Y. Then the trade winds came, and Amazon Y was out-competed by Amazon X. I like all of that. It's all Captain Obvious, but, it's good fun. I'm lucky that I live in a post-Darwin world, such that I get the benefit of that genius and a lot of other geniuses too. Often I feel that I'm a genius for knowing all these things, but I'm a total idiot and would have believed everything else but for these geniuses. Someone said that about Columbus going to, when he went to America and thought he was in India. And I was telling someone about that, and he laughed. And he said, "What an idiot!" And I said, "That's only because you know now. You might have called it, Algeria for all we know, with your level of understanding of the globe at that time. Had you not had geniuses around you to, for example, even propose that the Earth was round, that the Earth was a sphere, you would have believed it was flat." When great scientists and so on get things wrong, and then other great scientists get things right, and then pass that on to all the puny-minded people in the world like me, the puny-minded world tends to have this arrogance in which we laugh at the scientists who get anything wrong, but they're above us, the ones who get things wrong, because they know the questions to ask. We only know the answers. That'll do.